This evening, two unions and the Gaisuko top brass are shaping for a showdown as the sugar saga slides on. The Rupert Roopnarine transfer has awakened the WPA to the extent of whipping up a media conference after a lengthy hiatus. The 1975 Soweto uprising in South Africa was remembered yesterday by way of a local Pan-African movement concert. Another Unicomer franchise hits the road as investment opportunities in Guyana are being gobbled up. In the region, there was a deadly explosion in Colombia's capital as terrorists continue their cowardly acts. And internationally, more deaths in London in a seemingly unending trend of terrorism there.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Ramble Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with Basil Bradshaw.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel as well as our website, safetvguyana.com. Join us. The battle lines are drawn between GAWU and FITAG on one hand and the current administration of Gaisuko on the other. And there seems to be no immediate letting up in the battle of accusations and blame. Wendell Jeffrey highlights the battle.
Sugar loses sweet on the AP and UAFC. And at a sudden, so now, we are very surprised to hear now that you're saying now Skeleton, that Skeleton is a white elephant.
Administration?
Yes, it was functioning on the last administration. Skeleton was doing well. Skeleton produced 36,000 tons of sugar. And at a sudden, so now you're hearing that Skeleton is a white elephant. But no, well, not only sugar subsidized, there are more other things subsidized in this country. Well, we are not talking about, if you talk about Linden are getting a subsidy about $3 billion per year for electricity. And you're not hearing nobody are talking about that, and you're taking away people's livelihood when they come to the sugar industry.
Thank you, Wendell. Leaders of the Working People's Alliance finally decided to face the media today. Among the various concerns was their grouse with the Rupert Roopnarine issue that has engaged the public's attention. Esther Sobers was among the media representatives who gave the WPA a hearing.
The Working People's Alliance held its first press conference in over 2 years to discuss the discontentment in the reassignment of Dr. Roopnarine, as well as other areas of concern. WPA executive member Dr. David Hines felt that the timing of Dr. Roopnarine's reassignment was extremely insensitive of the government. The date, June 13, 2017, was not only the date of the reassignment, it was also the 37th anniversary of the assassination of WPA's founder, the late Walter Rodney.
To announce the reassignment of a WPA minister on that day was extremely insensitive. And I think this, we in the WPA believe that this has to do with something larger than what happened on that day.
Additionally, Dr. Hines expressed the belief that those in power have not been respectful of Walter Rodney and his contributions.
Activist or politician, he was a scholar, he was an inspiration not only to us here in Guyana, but to the rest of the Caribbean, to Africa, to the rest of the so-called third world, and to sections of the political and intellectual communities across the world. And so therefore we feel that this country is lagging behind when it comes to honoring Walter.
On the topic of Dr. Roopnarine's reassignment, the WPA expressed discontentment with the lack of consultation on the matter.
There was no meeting between the WPA and the coalition or the president in which it was said to us, look, we are now in government, WPA is entitled to one minister or whatever the case, who's your nominee. We were not...
According to the executive board of the WPA, anger over the movement is intensified by the fact that the party's only cabinet-level minister was removed from what is arguably the most substantive ministry of the central government. For Channel 2 Headline News, I'm Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Yesterday, the world celebrated Father's Day, and in Guyana there were hundreds of occasions to pay tribute to dads and to pamper them. One such place was the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church in East Le Penitence. Wendell Jeffrey brings us up to date on this one.
The fathers of the church were usually the ones to be honored. However, yesterday the Ebenezer Seventh-day Adventist Church in Fremont Street, East Le Penitence extended their goodies to fathers and community men. Several of the men of the church and those in the community came out with their wives and children for a sumptuous breakfast. They were all served with fruits, tea, porridge, whole wheat bread, bacon, saltfish, and pepper pot. The atmosphere was jovial and cordial. The fathers were all presented with a special token, and they were even serenaded. The event was attended by a special regular visitor, Mr. Adam Harris, editor-in-chief of the Kaitro News. Pastor Henry gave a brief charge.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he had spoken.
One of the coordinators of the event, Sister Winnet Blackman, thanked the men in the community for responding to their invitation. And Sister Althea Tucker did a special item of music as the fathers and their families ate their fill, wondering if this will be an annual feature. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks again, Wendell. Coming up on Headline News after the break, Unicomer Group of Companies invests and that one-man protest by a taxi driver in South Rhinebeck.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
I'll say, will you marry me? I swear that I will mean it. I say, will you marry me? Sing it.
John-Louis Styles, simply different.
It's always fresh, tasty, enticing, and the best in town, served hot from our experienced chefs. Come and enjoy our daily meals with a wide and delicious menu to choose from, also a wide variety of pastries and dessert. We can also host your luncheons, cocktails, parties, and formal gathering. For reservation, call 225-1730, 225-0038, and delivery 225-0195 or 225-0159. The new thriving Chinese restaurant, 32 Main Street, Georgetown.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
The local branch of the world-renowned Pan-African movement held its annual concert on Sunday at the Queen's College Auditorium. Though it was just a coincidence that the event was staged on Father's Day, it specifically commemorated the Soweto uprising in South Africa in 1975. George Gonzalez was there and now shares his experience.
Last night, the Pan-African Movement Guyana branch hosted its Day of the African Child concert at Queen's College Auditorium. The concert was well supported. Various artistes and students from several schools across the city participated in the event, showcasing the beauty of African poetry, song, and dance. Pan artistes also entertained the audience with versions of contemporary songs as well. The night was not only for enjoyment of the arts. Artisans were also given a space to sell their African-themed crafts.
Made from coconut branch, the brown one is coconut branch, the cream one is TB straw, and you stitch it together with an ordinary needle. The eye's got to be coarse, and you can create whatever pattern you want.
The concert was in commemoration of the children's uprising in Soweto, South Africa. The Soweto uprising was a series of demonstrations and protests led by black school children in South Africa that began on the morning of the 16th of June, 1976. Students from numerous Sowetan schools began to protest in the streets in response to the introduction of Afrikaans as the medium of instruction in local schools. It is estimated that 20,000 students took part in the protests. They were met with fierce police brutality. The number of protesters killed by police is usually given as 176, but estimates of up to 700 have been recorded. In remembrance of these events, the 16th of June is now a public holiday in South Africa named Youth Day. This has been George Gonzalez for Channel 2 Headline News.
Thank you, George. In spite of the financial struggles in the country, some investors continue to position themselves for any possible development. One such investor is the Unicomer Group of Companies, which operates Quartz, Lucky Dollar, and Quartz Optical. Today, the group added another franchise to its portfolio. Let's hear about it from Wendell Jeffrey.
On Friday last, the Giftland Mall saw another store added to the continued expansion taking place here in Guyana. Unicomer Guyana Network launched the world-renowned store chain Radio Shack. It is their first store here in Guyana and their 73rd store worldwide. Featured speaker and Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry President, Mr. Deodat Indar, praised the Unicomer brand for not falling victim of the gloom and doom talk taking place here in Guyana. He said that the Radio Shack stores provided innovative solutions to customers. Indar also indicated and identified some of the product lines of the store, which includes computers, tablets, and Android boxes. Unicomer Managing Director, Mr. Clyde Diaz, spoke of the developmental plans of his company.
The Unicomer Group acquired the franchise for Radio Shack last year, and the franchise covers the whole of South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. And as part of acquiring the franchise, the Unicomer Group is now opening more stores in the Caribbean. We already opened stores in Trinidad, we opened stores in Barbados, and now we are opening one store, one of more to come, in Guyana.
Local store manager, Mr. Rodell Bristol, emphasized the kind of approaches his sales representatives will adopt.
And it's about the experience. So two things we remember about Radio Shack. One, high-tech electronics for your lifestyle. And two, quality customer service. What we want to give you is that experience. We want to give you something that you can take away. Advice. Okay? We're not here to just push something at you. If it's not going to work for you, we'll let you know straight up.
Laverne Baker, Director of Sales for Unicomer, spoke of the reasonable prices, quality, and variety of the products in the store.
When we check, we actually have very exciting prices. So you can get from us from a battery that is, we have AAAs, AA's, the popular batteries for $500. So there's a price for everybody. It has something for everybody in the store.
Okay. The store will employ 5 employees and will be open during normal store hours. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Good to go, Wendell. A Green Ice taxi driver today staged a one-man protest against what he believes is the destruction of the streets in South Rhineville Gardens and Park. George Gonzalez felt obligated to giving the protester some recognition.
For many years, a vast expanse of uncultivated cane fields existed behind the Georgetown community of South Rhineville Gardens. Until recently, there was little to no vehicular traffic on this stretch of road. Now, with construction by the Vera Company and John Deere Guyana, there has been a spike in heavy-duty vehicles and earth movers traversing this stretch of road. At first, the development was welcomed by residents, but opinions soon changed. Residents allege that the dump trucks, some of them carrying over 22 tons of material, are responsible for heavy amounts of damage done to the roads. Headline News has been following the public's opinion on the matter over the past year. Residents gave many threats of taking action against the company, but one man decided to form his own opposition to the project.
These trucks break up this road down here. We do it back. You can't even drive from Cairnview. They broke up Cairnview. You broke up Cairnview. You understand? They broke up at Cairnview. You can't drive. Cars can't drive them. The road coming up, but they want to drive back through it. They want to drive back through it. And telling me I must drive, I must go in mud. I can't drive, I'm going in mud. You can drive here.
This action angers and confuses the driver of this particular truck.
This is unfair. This is bullying. We've been here already for 20 minutes. All he has to do is look at the concrete, take the car and pull up a little bit for us to pass. This truck has 22 tons of weight on his back. And he wants the truck to drive in the mud. And it's raining. What do you think will happen to the parapet? If you go on the parapet, won't it break up more?
The taxi man parked his vehicle at the intersection of David Rose and Sugarcane Road, effectively blocking access for the trucks. The truck driver believes the man's anger to be misplaced.
He's claiming the truck breaking up the road. This truck will pay $55,000 revenue license per year. So you tell me if we pay revenue if we don't have right to use the road. This is a commercial vehicle and we use it to take sand at the back for the construction. We have to use the road. It's a government job to provide proper road for the vehicle.
Over the course of the past year, this particular stretch of David Rose Street has been repaired twice, but the intersecting road of Caneview has not seen any repairs. As such, it has been left in a deplorable state. Unfortunately, the issue of who is responsible is a bit complex. John Deere Guyana and the Vera Company are two separate entities, each hiring several independent contractors to move materials. But for many, like this taxi driver, the issue is not who is to blame, but rather who will fix the road. This has been George Gonzalez for Channel 2 Headline News.
We heard you, George. Still ahead, the explosion in Colombia that took 3 lives and another life-taking act in London by more terrorists.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
I'll say, will you marry me? I swear that I will mean it. I say, will you marry me? Sing it.
Jean-Louis Styles, simply different.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
Now opened, the new thriving Chinese restaurant Providence location. Perfect for large events, exquisite menus featuring traditional Korean, Chinese and Western cuisine, elegant grand dining room and seats for over 500 persons. Also additional seating on the upper flat, luxurious VIP rooms and an elevator for your comfort. The new thriving Chinese restaurant second location above Massey Supermarket, Amazonian Mall, Providence. For reservation call 623-4097 or 657-9067.
In news from the region now, in Colombia, an explosion at a shopping center in the capital has killed at least 3 people and left 9 injured. The mayor of Bogota has described the blast as a cowardly terrorist bombing. Oliver Whitfield Mayosic reports.
Panic and confusion in one of Bogota's most exclusive shopping areas. The explosion felt and heard as people were buying gifts ahead of Father's Day. Police say the device was placed in a toilet in a female restroom.
I was taking care of a client when I heard the explosion. Then all of a sudden they told everyone to evacuate, and when we were outside, we found out that a person had been killed and several others injured.
One of the victims is a French woman who was visiting Colombia.
De 23 años.
She is 23 years old. Her name is Julie Queen, and she came to do some social work at a school in a Bogota neighborhood for 6 months. This act has hurt us very much.
Bogota's mayor says the explosion is linked to terrorism. Security has improved in the capital over the past 10 years. In December 2016, a historic peace deal was signed between FARC rebels and the government, but there have since been several attacks. An explosion near a bull ring in February killed a police officer and injured dozens. That attack was claimed by the National Liberation Army, yet the rebel group has denied playing any role in Saturday's bombing. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos has ordered an investigation which is now underway. Oliver Whitfield Majic, TRT World.
Due to the tropical storm warning in effect for Trinidad, Tobago and Grenada, Caribbean Airlines has announced that flights via Port of Spain, including connecting flights, have been cancelled. Affected passengers are being urged to change or cancel their reservations without any penalty attached. Customers are advised to contact Caribbean Airlines for more details. In Brazil, the world's largest Pride parade kicked off on Sunday in Sao Paulo. An estimated 3 million people were in attendance, according to parade organizers. The parade is a sign of progress in the nation, but according to the NGO, Brazil is the #1 place in the region for homicides of LGBT people, with 340 deaths in 2016 due to homophobia. And internationally, in London, A man has died and 8 people have been injured after a van struck a crowd of pedestrians near a North London mosque. Sources indicate that this was a purposeful act against Muslims. BBC News' Greg Dawson has the story.
The Seven Sisters Road in North London just after midnight. This footage, filmed by an eyewitness, was recorded moments after a van mounted the pavement and struck several pedestrians. The streets had been filled with worshippers who had just left evening prayers at the Finsbury Park Mosque and the nearby Muslim Welfare House.
It looked straight. It looked straight, like it was towards Muslims. It was basically the target that people were going to walk up.
He basically drove on the pavement, coming straight towards all the Muslims, and as he's coming to them, he hit all of them.
Within hours, the Muslim Council of Britain claimed that the van was intentionally driven at worshippers. Police say the driver, a 48-year-old man, was found by members of the public and handed over to officers to be arrested. He's since been taken to hospital as a precaution.
I was coming from the shops and I saw a large crowd of people on the pavement. I learned after that a van that was standing out by the traffic lights was the van that mowed the people down.
Several ambulances were on the scene soon afterwards, with trauma teams treating the injured. 8 people were taken to hospital. In the early hours of the morning, Downing Street issued a statement from Theresa May saying her thoughts were with all of those injured. The Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who's also a local MP, said he was totally shocked and had been in touch with mosques in the area as well as Islington Council. This morning the scene remains sealed off as counter-terrorism officers, for the 3rd time in as many months, investigate a vehicle driven into people on London streets with deadly consequences. Greg Dawson, BBC News.
Still in London, the number of people dead and missing, presumed dead after the Grenfell Tower disaster has risen to 79. Of those, only 5 have been formally identified. Search efforts are ongoing and an investigation as to the cause of the fire is still pending. In Nigeria, on Monday, several female suicide bombers killed 16 people and wounded numerous others in the village of Kofa in the northeast state of Borno. There was no immediate claim of responsibility yet, but the use of female suicide bombers is a tactic commonly used by Boko Haram. The attacks took place near a camp occupied by people who were made homeless by the terror group's violence. And the American student who was released last week after being imprisoned for over a year in North Korea has died. Otto Warmbier returned to the U.S. last Tuesday. He had been in a coma for a year. North Korea said botulism led to the coma, but a team of U.S. doctors dispute this account. Warmbier had suffered severe brain damage and was medically evacuated to a U.S. hospital. The Warmbier family blamed North Korea for his death, alleging it is to be the result of torturous treatment. Stay tuned to Headline News for the weather report. that's Channel 2's headline news for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 headline news on Facebook, YouTube, and safetvguyana.com. You can also tune in at 6:30 tomorrow morning for a rebroadcast. Until then, I'm Basil Bradshaw, signing out from this newscast. Aye. Pardon me? Oh, forget. Okay, I forget the weather.